Hi ladies. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be talking about my miscarriages that I had. I had 4 miscarriages in total and they were all different stages of pregnancy. So this might seem kind of a little bit out of the blue because obviously I've got my 3 beautiful children now. I've got Harry that's 10, Charlie that's 5 and Olivia that's 1, but it is still a part of my life. It is still a part of my journey to becoming a mother. So without explaining too much and sort of going into it, you guys just want the story obviously, so let's get into that. So when we had Harry, it was a big shock for us. We'd only been dating about a year and we moved in together. We bought our first house, we had Harry, etc. We then got married. After we got married, I started my YouTube channel, which is the one that you guys are watching today, and I had like 2 subscribers and I was like, wow, that's so exciting that just one other person, because I think the first subscriber was my friend, and I was like, wow, this is really cool that there's like someone else that wants to watch my videos, and now I have like 54,000 of you guys, which is absolutely insane. But anyway, so we started trying and I stumbled across all these people taking pregnancy tests on videos, and I was like, I could do that. I'm a pee on a stickaholic. I could do that. So the first time I got pregnant, we were trying for 9 months, I believe, and I got pregnant. And you know when you Google stuff and it gives you the same answer, like regardless of what forum or whatever you click on, you roll round to basically having the same answer. So when I started taking pregnancy tests, I got a positive and I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not quite sure if this is really positive or not. Took another one, it was darker, and then I took the third one and it was the same darkness as the second one, and it just kind of stayed like that for, oh god, probably about a week. And they didn't get any darker, but they also didn't get any lighter. So of course I was Googling like pregnancy test, not getting any darker. And it kept coming up with chemical pregnancy, chemical pregnancy. So I was like, okay, this obviously doesn't sound good. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I don't think this is going to go very well. So as I carried on taking them, the line got lighter and lighter until it completely disappeared. And that's when my my HCG was low enough for my body to just kind of realise, okay, actually, this pregnancy is not going to go ahead. We're not going to hold on to it. So that was really devastating. But, you know, I was still quite fresh, you know, in the game, so to speak, with like TTCing. So we tried again and I didn't know kind of how long to wait, things like that, but I carried on taking my ovulation tests and kept on testing, and it kind of, I don't know, I don't think it affected me. Like, my third pregnancy was definitely my worst by like far, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. So it took another 9 months to get pregnant? I think so. I'll have to go back to even more videos, but I think it took another 9 months. We got pregnant again. This time I was like, right, I'm going to keep on testing because I really want to make sure these HCG lines and these pregnancy test lines are getting darker, because that means that, you know, the pregnancy is going to be viable, so to speak. So, and it did. And I don't want to frighten anyone who is taking pregnancy tests at the moment and maybe thinking that they're coming, you know, up to something that I went through, because there's no rhyme or reason. So I took a pregnancy test, it was positive. Took another one, it was darker. Took another one, it was darker, and I was like, oh my god, yes. I took a digital, and to be honest, the digital took a little bit longer. I think I was at least sort of like 14, 15 DPO before the digital actually picked up anything. But my pregnancy tests were there, they were positive, I was really excited. So very quickly, I started to get sick, like really sick. Now, my pregnancy with Harry was absolutely fine. I felt nauseous for 12 weeks after that, not too bad. My second pregnancy, again, I wasn't really pregnant for as long, so I don't think any of the symptoms had kind of kicked in, other than I was feeling a little bit like tired or what have you. My third pregnancy was my worst pregnancy by far. So I would be sick 8 times a day. I couldn't even swallow my own saliva. It was that bad. I couldn't keep anything down. I had to have time off work, which I never do, by the way. And it was really hard. To the point where I was like, Christ, I don't even, I don't even know if I can go through with this. Like, this is awful. And I started having some really dark thoughts. So I thought, okay, I'm about 8.5 to 9 weeks now. No, was I 10 weeks? Anyway, I was impatient and I couldn't wait for the 12-week scan. So I booked a ultrasound at around 10 weeks. And that's the video that you guys saw. I think the video is titled "It's All Over," something like that. And we drove down to the private scan and I was really excited. And at the time there was no such thing as COVID. So like Matt and Harry were there. And I don't know, I just felt so sick. I was like, I need to just know the baby's okay, because if I see the baby and I've got a picture, that's something I can work towards. And then get to my 12 weeks and hopefully I won't feel so sick anymore, because your progesterone levels peak at 12 weeks and they sort of plateau out. So I was like, okay, great. We got there and she ushered me in and she said, let's see what... No, did she do an internal? I really can't remember. God, I'm going to have to go back and watch that one. I really can't remember. Right, okay. So I came in with a... Sorry, I'm like a weird vasovagal moment. So I went in and she said, right, you're 10 weeks, so I'm going to scan your tummy. So I came in with a really full bladder and she put the wand on my stomach and I looked at the picture and I was like, oh, like, where's the baby? Like, I could see kind of like a dark spot, but kind of not... It was really difficult to kind of make out what it was. And she was like, so how many weeks are you? And I was like, I'm 10 weeks. And the reason I know that is because I was doing the ovulation tests, as I said before. So she kept asking me, like, is there any chance you could be less than 10 weeks at all? Because your womb is measuring too big and your baby's measuring too small. I was like, there's no chance. Like, I know exactly how many weeks I am. She said, okay, I'm really sorry, just to let you know that it's probably not going to be good news, but I need you to go and empty your bladder, and we need to do an internal, if that's okay with you. So I literally went into the toilet and I went for a wee and I just sort of had a moment with myself and I was like, Corinne, I don't think this is going to be good news. I don't know, that was it. So I went back in and Matt and Harry were there, and obviously Harry was only about sort of 2.5 at the time, he didn't really understand. And I got back up on the couch, I did the internal, and she gave me some pictures and she was like, I'm really sorry, like there's no viable pregnancy, there's a baby there, there's no heartbeat, the baby's passed away and your womb is actually too big for the gestation. So they could see kind of like a baby sort of about 6-7 weeks and then this huge womb that was like this. So I don't cry very much, and I didn't cry with this news. I was kind of numb. I was like, I was just really emotionless, like really like, I don't know how to act right now. I just don't know how to. Now, I forgot to mention that this was actually Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve we were gonna give everyone the photos on Christmas Day and be like, oh my god, we're pregnant, surprise. But I actually spent Christmas Day sitting, eating food very quietly, not really talking to anyone, feeling really sorry for myself. Everyone, obviously we had to tell family and that was devastating. So the problem with it being Christmas Eve is because it was then Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and they don't normally do like D&Cs or anything on those days. So I got given the option. I went to hospital there to rescan me. The NHS scans are not like the private scans. And they rescanned me and they said, yeah, this is exactly what the private scan said. Here are your options. So I had a chance to go natural, go home and wait for my miscarriage to, my body to realise what was going on. I didn't want that because she told me that like my womb and the sac and everything were quite big. So I was like, I don't really want to see it. I don't, I don't feel good about that choice. So she was like, okay, there's another option where you can have a D&C awake, a D&C asleep. I was like, a D&C asleep. I think that's probably the best option for me. I just need to go to sleep and then things need to be done, and that's that. She was like, that's absolutely fine, and she was really sweet and really kind. So then kind of things took a little bit of a weird turn, because obviously I was still pregnant and I had to go in on January 2nd, I believe, to have the D&C. I had to sign a waiver to say there was like a 1 in 100 chance of them leaving some tissues and them getting infected and me getting sick. Of course, hi, my name's Corinne, I'm that 1 in 100 chance. So that's exactly what happened. I was out of surgery, I had cramps, I was bleeding, and then about 2 or 3 days later I was on the sofa watching Disney movies with Harry, and all of a sudden I felt like really, really hot. I was like, oh my god, like get these duvets off me. And next minute I'm like, oh my god, I'm so cold, like give me that duvet back. And it was Friday night, all the doctors had closed. So I rung 111 and they went through all the questions like they do, you know, have you had a surgery recently? Have you been pregnant recently? All of this. They sent an ambulance and they took me, and I literally had like sepsis. I was really, really sick. So that happened. I then had to have another D&C. I had to stay in for ages. I had a cannula in the back of my hand. I had IV drips, I had paracetamol fluids and all that. And I had antibiotics, like bolus in my veins, like to try and get it into my system as quick as possible. It was a mess. So that like really, really put me off of ever getting pregnant ever again. I said to the surgeon, just take my womb out. When you do the D&C, just like take everything out. Like I'm not having any more children. They were like, Corinne, you're literally like, how old was I? Like 23? Like, Corinne, you're 23. Like, we're not going to do that. So that was that. Anyway, I felt so empty. Like, you imagine your life, don't you? As soon as you get the pregnancy test, it's like you envision this life with having 2 children. And all of a sudden, that was taken away from me. So I felt really empty. I didn't know what to do. And I spoke to lots of people and I made videos for you guys, and I didn't really know how I felt. We'd only just moved house, you know, it was a lot. So then, like I said, we moved house and we were doing up the bathroom, and I think we just had a moment. I think we literally just had a moment and we got pregnant with Charlie. And that was amazing. The pregnancy was pretty much fine. I threw up a lot. I stayed in bed for the first 14 weeks, but the pregnancy was fine. Had him. And then I told myself I didn't want any more. And I sort of went back to toing and froing with the idea. And then we started trying again. And I had 2 more miscarriages. So my 3rd pregnancy, which was my 2nd miscarriage, was my worst. The next 2 came along, and again, they were like chemical pregnancies. So I would take a test on camera for you guys, obviously, and I'd be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And there was like a line, and I was like, oh my god, it's happened again. It's so exciting. But because I had the knowledge, I kept taking the tests. I kept making sure those lines were getting darker, and they weren't. I think that happened 2 more times, and then we got pregnant with Olivia. Now, of course, by this point, I'd already lost like 4 babies, 4 fetuses, 4 little clusters of cells, whatever you want to say. And I was bricking it, guys. Like, this was my 7th pregnancy by now, and I was absolutely bricking it. And it was really, really, really hard to trust my body and to be like, okay, you're gonna make a baby then, are you, or are you not? And I felt really, really skeptical. And we went on holiday and I didn't feel very well, and then we came back and we had an early scan and everything was good. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, and we're going to have our 3rd baby. And the pregnancy was fine. I did throw up a lot. And it's funny because people say to me, what was like, did you have any inkling that you were having a girl? And I did, but my pregnancy with Harry and Charlie were not any different to like Olivia's pregnancy. So just because I was having a girl, I didn't really feel any different. Like, my pregnancies that were most alike were Charlie's pregnancy and Olivia's pregnancy, because I was like vomiting constantly with those 2. But with Harry, I wasn't actually sick, so it wasn't like there that was probably my best pregnancy by far, was Harry. But yeah, if you have any questions, please leave me them down below. I will answer every one of them. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to me for free. Yeah, that's literally it. And I haven't told this story for a while, and it is a part of my life, and I don't want to forget, you know, I don't want to leave behind, just because I've got this beautiful family, I don't want to leave behind the memories of the miscarriages that I had, because it is really sad and I'm really gutted that I went through it, but it really helped a lot of you guys that also went through it, and I'm really gutted for you guys. But I am here for you. If you need to message me on Instagram, it's at Corin Hounslow. Please send me a little message. I've had loads of messages recently, and this is kind of why I was making this video. Also the fact I fell down the YouTube hole of like lots of different other videos. But yeah, so I'm really, really grateful. I look at my children every single day and I'm so grateful for what I've got, and it's really, really hard, but you know, I've come out the other side, and I'm sure you guys can too. And yeah, so that's all I've got to say for now, but I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye ladies.